Hey traders, Parker here with another indicator. Today I'll be highlighting someone else's strategy and I develop an indicator around their strategy. So let's minimize this, and this is the person, Chris Johnson. It's the person who came up with the strategy. I just create this indicator around it. I just go to this channel. Let me close that. But for the most part, this is Chris Johnson. If you don't know him or haven't heard of him before, just check him out if you get a chance. But for the most part, he came up with the strategy using the.
Maybe from here to here you get stopped out, but
Let
from here to
me
here that works.
stop that. But he came up with the strategy of using RSI and the price channel, and that's basically what this indicator does. I created. For the most part, he uses on the hourly, and he kept everything on the factory settings. So right now we're on the hourly chart, and I have the price channel set at 20 and the RSI set at 14 like it normally would, and it's based off the price of the close and the Wilder's average. So that's basically how you set it up. This lower indicator is just RSI. Just added a midpoint or a 50 point or halfway point. But for the most part, the way he uses strategy is uh, once the price moves to the lower band, and if RSI is below oversold, you'll take a trade right here, and you'll get out of it once it reaches to the top or whatever you're comfortable with. But for the most part, that's how the trade works. Once you hit right here, once you get the signals, these little cyan dots right here showing that the low is below the lower band and the RSI is below oversold. And the same situation here is the high is above the RSI is in the overbought territory, and also the highest above the upper band. I threw in the middle band as well, just for context, to let you know, hey, is it trading below the midpoint of the channel, or is it trading above it? And that's basically how his strategy works out. Let's see, I'm trying to find another one where what would have worked out. But for the most part, SPY was in an uptrend, and I'm trying to let's go to another stock too. So, let's see if we get some better results off of Tesla. And for the most part, it worked out very well right here. You can see right here, you got your signal right here. Price crept up and it stayed above the 50. I would have stayed in it possibly once. Possibly if it crossed back below 50, but probably definitely taking it out once it crossed above 200. I probably would have been out of this trade, especially getting in at 185 and getting out at 200, and especially if you bought some calls on the stock while the stock was in the low, so the calls would have been cheap to buy, and then just getting out once you notice that, hey, this stock RSI is above overbought, and highs are breaking above the band, upper band of the channel. So you got the same situation here. You may have gotten in right here, and then so once you got up here, I put my volume on here as well. I shouldn't probably need to change the situation with the volume. So I'll just change. I shall leave the volume alone. I'll push it to 15. Well, for the most part, the volume is just showing you the changes, whether it's above one deviation, two deviation, above average, below average. But for the most part, the volume would just give you an indication of what's going on within the stock at that time period. But for the most part, you're looking for a reaction, especially a reaction volume. You got this reaction right here. It came back within the bands, pushed up a little bit. You would have gotten out a little bit after that, especially because you had high volume on this red candle right here. Same situation here. You would have jumped in right here, buy right there. Sold right there. But this is his strategy. I'm just explaining it, but don't take this as gospel. Don't take this me telling you anything is to go ahead and buy it or jump into this strategy. The indicator is going to be free. Just look at the link in the description, and you can grab the indicator And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. So whenever I do uh, find other strategies and give away free indicators, just so you'll be alerted for it. And let's see. You can see it has its drawbacks. You know, this would have worked out pretty nice. I wouldn't have bought on any of these counters, especially because it's pre-market and it's just low volume. But maybe over here you thought about getting in, especially if you got it back above this candle high right here and gotten out at the midpoint. This right here is just showing you that, hey, if you did get in right here, you want to get out right there. But for the most part, this is the strategy. And let's take it down to the 10-minute. He didn't like going down below the hourly or really the 30-minute. But for the most part, I'm going to push it down to my time frame. Usually the 5-minute. I'm going to push everything to 12. I'm going to push this to simple. Same situation with the RSI. Pushing it to 12. And pushing it to the simple. And this is his strategy. If you would have, this is the same strategy at a lower time point. I use 12. If you haven't been following me long, I use 12 on a 5-minute chart because that gives you an hourly. So it's giving me hourly information. So 12 bars, 12 5-minute bars will give me an hour. So you can see the same strategy. RSI is below oversold. I would have tried to take the trade once it crossed back above oversold right here and possibly gotten out over here. So that's probably what I would have played, how I would play it on the lower time frames. You look for the conditions and you look for RSI to get back above oversold and possibly get out right here. So same situation here. RSI is oversold, possibly getting in on this candle right here and getting out once you start seeing all these high wicks like that. And let me look at one thing with my volume and okay, it's on the high low. I was just checking the trend for my volume. Same situation here. You got your conditions are being met. Wait for this is me telling you how I would use this. You would just wait for RSI come back out oversold and getting out once you get back above overbought and hitting those bands. And let's go. Same situation here. It's out of it, getting out somewhere over here. Same situation here. It's RSI cross back above oversold, getting in right there and getting out up here. Even though RSI didn't get out, go above overbought. This huge low and this huge upper wick right here just indication of selling. And I really need to change that trend on the volume to get a better indication of what's going on. I just put on buy sell pressure. And now that green candle, because it's not necessarily following the trend of the high low, it's actually doing a buy sell pressure. So now you're seeing the buying and selling pressure on the candles. We'll go back to the S&P 500. Excuse me. We go back to the S&P 500, looking at a lower time frame. This is what happened today. RSI, you got your conditions met. RSI came back above oversold. And once you hit this band, you probably want to get out of it. Same situation, you got your conditions, but there's not a lot of volume going into this. And you're looking at more selling volume than you are buying volume overall, because you see overall the stock is in a downtrend. So this, even if you got in right here, you would have made some money, and you probably just sold once it hit here. And let's go find one of the better days for the S&P 500. Just looking for a day where you had a nice turnaround in the stock. Really wasn't able to get above the 50 and just low volume throughout this whole entire thing. Let me change this back to 12 as well. And even if, I guess one other thing is I'm showing you the versatility of my volume indicator. So we just go close by close. And here's a break above, but it's on low volume. Here's a break above on low volume. Here's another one, or a continuation. I may would have gotten in, especially seeing this low wick right here on this candle with volume, not necessarily above, well, volume will be above average. And then you just trail it into here and you would just sell right there. And using this low of this candle is your risk right there. Here's another one. Here's a nice one. So here's your conditions. Here's your signal back above oversold. Gotten in on here and sold out over here on this candle right here. Same situation. Well, you didn't really get one right here, but it's hitting the same low of the channel. And you have a volume above 2 deviations, this white candle. So I probably would have got in on this candle, even though RSI didn't go below oversold. It's still a good indication that, I say a reaction that it's saying buyers stepped in and bought it up and possibly sold on this candle right here. And you can look at this as a waterfall down. RSI is way below oversold. RSI breaks back above oversold on this candle right here and just ride it up to the band. RSI is below oversold, jumping in on this candle right here and riding it up to possibly either getting out right here or anywhere it's hitting this band, somewhere along here. Possibly, I say at least if you're getting in pre-market, you want to be out by at least 9:30. And even if you're taking a stock short, you just use the same example. Here it goes overbought, and you would have gotten out possibly over here. So you could short it, whichever way you want to take it. But I'm just showing you on the bullish side, or on the buying side. Here's your conditions are being met. You got strong volume, pushed it up, but it couldn't hold or sustain it. You can see really right here on this candle right here that you had problems trying to go above. And it depends on what type of news that came out as well. But even if you lost out on this trade, you had another opportunity here. You would have gotten stopped out here, or if you held it a little while, at least back up there. And just use your channel as your lower channel as your risk, or your indication of some type of support. So you can see it's just way overbought over here. And you see RSI went below, but the low didn't go below the channel. Same situation over here. The low didn't go below the channel, even though RSI went below the channel. RSI went below oversold. NVDA, the video. Here's your conditions being met right here, and possibly getting out over here, or possibly looking at the low of the channel being your support area. You got to bounce off, and then you just riding it up there. But for the most part, this is the end of the video. That's how the strategy works out. You have your conditions being met over here. Look at that long, low wick. A lot of volume coming in, and you got this push up, possibly getting out over here. Same situation here. You're above the band. RSI is above overbought, and you probably want to just ride it out to possibly this lower, somewhere over here. You want to get out of this stock. So if you wanted to take it on the short side. But for the most part, this is the end of the video. I'll put the link to his video in the description of the video, so you can check him out and see what he had to say. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to what I had to say. I hope that you're doing great out there in the market. I hope this was very informative for you. I wish you the best, and God bless.